Hi there. I'm a little bit less frequent in my videos these days. I'm looking for people that want to invest in my concepts. I have a number of them. People are interested. They kind of find me on the internet and then ask to talk to them. And I have yet to find one that says, okay, I like this concept. I want to help you work on it. And for that, of course, I have some money. I think, let's say the biggest potential is in a combination of concepts, actually existing inventions, applying them in such a way that you can secure food production in Spain and Mexico, for instance, which is now dependent on the weather and water and irrigation. Well, you want to, of course, change that and make sure that it's always possible to grow crops. For that, you need to do desalination, and there's technology to do that with. You need an infrastructure. How to do that? The cheapest way is through a game-changing invention or innovation that I know of. I've talked to a guy about generating energy from wind, a certain specific type, with a huge potential around the world, and he hasn't come back to me after 3 hours of talking. I'm not sure why, but and I talked to another guy about storing hydrogen in the home. You basically have an installation in your home or in your street that captures the hydrogen, or generates the hydrogen and captures it and stores it and makes it available for use later. I know how to do that in a way that it makes sense. That guy, I talked to him for 3 hours, he didn't get back to me. Why? Well, because I didn't explain to him how I would make it make sense. Of course, I didn't explain to the other guy how I made the wind concept work, how I do that. Of course not. What the fuck do you think I've been doing for the last 6 years? Finding that out. So there seems to be and I get messages, okay, can you give us an example of a algae or seaweed project? Yes, I know many, but how are you going to reward me? If anybody knows the answer to that, then I can eke out a decent existence doing that. Right now it's just me without investors and a lot of ideas, and a lot of investors without ideas. That's nobody gains with that. You know, and at the same time, and it's dangerous because at the same time, the real interest, the new real powers in our country are breaking it down. They have only one way of thinking, and that is thinking about an economy as if it grows, as if it has organic internal drive, and that's the way they think about it. So we need to reinstate growth and all that stuff, without realizing that it is not a growing thing, it's a consuming thing. It consumes carbon, energy, carbon, fossil fuels. So it is intrinsically not alive, it is intrinsically not, the growth is not organic, nothing comes out of it, it only consumes. And once the oil supply stops, the growth will completely disappear. It will not be possible to have growth, and in fact you're left with a dead machine that doesn't do anything. So you have a truck and you drive around, it's fantastic. You think you're growing your company, buying more trucks and driving around more with stuff and bringing it everywhere. But in fact you're only increasing the addiction to what goes in the tank of those trucks, the diesel. Because everybody becomes dependent on the diesel. And you have no solution for that, because that's not considered in your business model at all. How, let's say, that's just, and that's the big trick. That's the big trick with that the carbon credit system can pull. It gives us money. We think that is just a means of exchange. It is not. It is a source of energy. It is our primary source of energy, is money. And that's why banks created, why they go into debt, why there's so much debt. The whole federal debt is burned money. I'm disgusted by naivety of Michael Hudson and Max Kaiser, and basically I I think that slowly it's clear that there's a group that is just married to the position that they have as traders and etc. That will simply an economist, and that there's a field of front runners like Max Kaiser, Michael Hudson, Steve Keen, that will catch criticism in the economical system in order to maintain the dominance of an economical theory, which is basically not necessary, because you don't need an overarching theory to run the renewable future economy, because it will be mostly local and it will be independent, so there is no general guiding principle to it. So Michael Hudson, of course, proposes land tax. There's no need for any taxes, because there's basically no fundamental need for much money in the future economy. People will be able to do things relatively for free, and the currency is actually, for many reasons, best kept local. It doesn't matter. You know, if you go to, if you have a, just to give an example, if you want to drive a train to Italy now, you have to pay about 200 euros. But if that rail system is renewably powered, which it can be quite easily, then you don't need any money to go to Italy. You simply board the train. And you can say, well, there's people on the train, they have to work, they have to eat, and they have to live too. Well, yes, they have homes that don't require energy, so no cost. They have machines that repair them with renewable energy at no cost. These machines themselves are repaired using robots with renewable energy at no cost. So they have a decent home, and they can have their families, and they live somewhere in a place that is relatively clean, because it's not polluted with carcinogens from coal-fired power plants, gas plants, no hydrogen sulfide, no toxins from diesel trucks and all that stuff. It's not there anymore. You know, that's the future. The future doesn't need an economical theory. It needs the foundation. And the nice thing about the foundation of the renewable future is that everybody can do it at the same time, which means that it can go really, really quickly, as long as you fucking start with it. So it means that you have to, and don't go for energy efficiency, although if you make your energy home efficient enough, you need less energy, so you can actually finally power it with renewable energies without being tied to the grid at all. Just use a battery, solar panels, solar heating, and some windmill technology. That's one of my concepts that has not been done, of course, because it's too powerful. Anyway, that's why I'm asking for people to invest. And I'm not sure. Basically, you can simply live wealthy if you do it based on renewables. If everybody tries to do that at the same time with a certain specific number of very simple and low-cost technologies. And the biggest game changer I have to offer is that you have technologies that make it so that you don't need fossil fuels in order to make your installations at all. If everybody does that at the same time in the next 10 years, then the world is totally renewable powered after 10 years. And it does mean that there's going to be no longer any international trade at the volume that we have right now, but it doesn't benefit anybody to have that, fundamentally. Even the bankers can live their wealthy lives in wealthy homes in Switzerland without having to be a banker, if you do it right. That's my suggestion. In Holland, there's a couple of opportunities now which are interesting, and it's surprising that there you can get a loan for renewable installations. You can get mortgage-style loans for renewable installations. And the funny challenge there is that within the current framework, using these debt instruments, you could say that if your renewable installation has a higher yield than the cost of your loan, then from day one you'll be making money, really making money. So you can imagine that you take out a loan for 5,000 euros, which costs you 40 euro a month, but your renewable installation that you buy with it generates 45 euros a month. That means that from day one you have the debt, but you also have an income, fixed income, based on that renewable energy installation. It would be a law to introduce in your country that requires banks to take a different approach to renewable energy installations, telling them that as the yield of these installations is so highly predictable, if they insure it, which is only €1 or 2 per month for these types of installations, so that wherever it is, it will always be guaranteed to produce, then they would never be able to allow, or they would never be allowed to reject a loan, just based on that. Because we are in Holland, we are in terms of cost, we are at parity, as it's called. So the yield of renewable installation will cover the debt, and that's energy production with solar panels, which is one of the least efficient, least cost-effective ways to do renewable energies. But it is the most common because it uses the most carbon in the production of these installations. And we are a gas country, so we don't want people to generate their own heat in a practical manner, because that would mean that they would buy less gas, and we want to sell the gas. But that's good news, and I'm working on that. There's actually another initiative. It's like you have to start learning to use incentives and constructions, just like the financial industry has done that with tax havens and all that stuff. And once you learn more about those loopholes, then you'll know that it's actually very profitable to have a renewable installation in Holland. And hopefully elsewhere in Europe as well, and hopefully in the rest of the world. It's a matter of time. There's really no winning for the banking system and the financial system and the carbon and credit system ultimately, because it will be defeated by everybody that takes the step of buying renewable energy sources. So that's my advice. And if you know a solution to the quandary of how I can unlock the potential of the concepts that I've been collecting for the last 6 years, especially in the face of the urgency of what's going on in Mexico and in Spain, and famine that might ensue, and basically fighting poverty and making sure that you can build a platform of egalitarian society where you say every citizen has the minimum of this and this and this, healthcare, everything based on renewable energy productivity. If you have something happened there, I'm not sure what, but then I'm very open to that. Thanks for listening.